Hi everyone, thanks for joining me today with Stamping with Loretta. Welcome to RCAD, our Rolodex card a day number 2. I have already started working on this, and I hate to say interrupted because it wasn't an interruption to me. I was helping my husband with some things. When you're 8.5 hours ahead of where your wife is, and certain transactions have to be made during business hours here on in Maryland, then well, let's just say East Coast time and Afghani time is very, very different. So I was helping take care of some business there. Before I get into finishing my little RCAD, I will let you know that AccuCut Craft has a sale on their dies from today, which is the 8th of April, until Friday, which is it the 10th or 12th? I think it's the 12th. Hold on, I'll tell you. The 11th, excuse me, until the 11th of April. They have 50% off. They also will ship flat rate, and I will be sharing with you in a couple of weeks the items that I have purchased through their company. So if you're interested, go check them out. Okay, to start with, I actually used my Copic Airbrush. I do not have any more of the buffer spray stuff. All you have to do to use this can is just clip on the little nozzle, just like that. Just kind of, you know, screw it on and shake it up, and then you put your pen in here and spray your different colors. I wanted more of a sunset look, so that's what I went with. This particular sprayer, you can also use your brush tip markers, like your distress markers, or your regular brush, like Recollections markers that I showed you in a previous video. These are attached with 2 pop dots. The cloud on the bottom, I'm not sure if it's showing up or not, but that does have texture. I got a couple of questions yesterday on this particular ring that I'm wearing. I can't see it. Anyway, they are tourmalines. So for those of you who have asked what that stone is, or those stones, my husband calls it my princess ring. I don't think there'll ever be anybody that I know anyway who has one like it. I do love it. It's a beautiful piece, and it's set in sterling silver. So the little quote I've chosen for today is, "May your cares like clouds float away." I printed this font out on my computer. This is just a regular Comic Sans font, and I printed it out on regular printer paper, and then I used some scraps of cardstock to mount that on top of, so that it will be a little bit more sturdy. Just hold these in place for a second. The funny, or not so funny thing is, I couldn't find my regular mono adhesive when I started this project, so I'm using what I have in hand, close to me. Okay, so may your cares like clouds float away. I'm going to add a little bit of interest and texture by just going over parts of this with my black Sharpie marker. You can also use your gelatos if you want, watercolor markers, pencils, whatever you have. Use it, play with it. Rolodex card days are definitely about the use of different types of materials, and as you can see, this card is still a little wet, and it's also got a lot of texture in it, which is somewhat difficult for my marker to go over right now. Not to mention, this is probably a fairly well used, well loved marker. So if you happen to have a Scarlet Lime pen from the online store. I can't think of her name. She's the girl that does a lot of art online. Christy Tomlinson, thank you. Then you can definitely do that. Since my first two tries at this weren't working so well, and right off camera here, I don't know if you can see, I've got just a Rolodex piece of scrap paper. I did order a larger Rolodex die that is the 4x5" die to cut the larger Rolodex cards. The Rolodex card I showed you yesterday is the smaller card. It measures 4 by about 2 3/4. So there are different size Rolodex cards, so check the size of your card as far as it's the ones that go in your particular case. That is something that I did not do before I made the card yesterday, and something I will not forget to do again. I'm just gonna randomly put some little dots in interest. I really like the way that this texture is showing up. I'm going to grab a stencil and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm not sure if this is actually going to be a repeat because I thought I was recording and did not pay attention that it did not look like I was. So what I did was I took out my big plastic gallon-sized baggie full of stencils. I shared with you yesterday I don't do a lot of altered art or art journaling kind of things or RCADs, but I do have the materials and supplies to do them. And today, as part of the AccuCut sale, I picked up the new mixed media art doll. So she is going to be shipped here soon, I'm sure. And I also picked up a new alphabet size die set. It's a 3-inch one. And I will be reopening up my eBay store here soon, so be looking out for that as well. So that's a few things that I'm looking forward to. I hope you are too. And finally, I'll actually use some of my dies and things to help make others happy and contribute towards their journeys in art journaling and just regular scrapbooking, stamping kind of things. So what I started to do was I've been using my Faber-Castell big brush markers. This one's red. I used the white one here and a couple of other places with a stencil. I don't think that got recorded, and so now I'm using this red one to highlight or re-highlight the words, which again says, "May your cares like clouds float away," and I'm going to hold that up so you can see it. And so I used my finger and some purple craft paint to pounce these areas. These are just simply a stencil that looks very much like a chicken wire type of effect, which I do like the way it turned out on my art journal card. So I'm going to, I really don't know what else I want to do with this right this second. When I was prepping the card, I did use some of this Tattered Angels, it's called Stone Glimmer Mist, on top of my piece, and that worked out really great because it definitely gave it some more interest and texture. I'm really liking the texture of this particular card. If you take a permanent marker and you just scribble it onto your craft mat, you can add water to it if you want. I can even just a little glimmer mist like that, and then take your finger, it turns into its own type of watercolor, and you can just use your finger and stencil it in. it doesn't add a whole lot of color as much as it adds some interest. So you can also color directly onto your stencil and then drag the color into the open areas of the stencil itself to just soften the look, because that way if you don't want it harsh, then you don't have to have it as bright or brilliant. You can also soften it up by just using your finger while it's still damp and create the softer look that way. And as you can see, that is working very well for me. So I think I'm going to add a few little shadows to my clouds here. The clouds were cut from a die that Sweet and Sassy Stamps makes. I do like their company. I also like My Favorite Things, which I am going to be placing an order when their new release comes out this evening. So I'll be looking forward to having that as well. So I'm just coloring up underneath the clouds a little bit with my pen. They are attached on here with the dimensional dots that I mentioned in yesterday's video. So you'll have that information, and it just adds a little bit of shadow. So if you look at it from the side, it just adds a little bit more dimension. I'm going to recolor the lines of my kite. Now this is another thing. This is actually not a permanent marker. It is actually a dry erase marker, and so that's the other reason it allows the color to move around for you there. And now I'm just going to add some random, I was going to add some random black dots, but this particular marker just needs to be trashed. So I'm going to just use a different marker. Alright, there you have it. Here is my finished Rolodex card a day number 2. Still pictures will follow. If I add anything to it, the still pictures will reflect those changes. Stay happy, be a blessing. I will talk to everybody soon. Have a great day. Bye.